In terms of returning talent, sources say there is an outside chance of Jaxson Hayes returning, but he wasn't thrilled about his role disappearing in the postseason and the money he lost as his minutes dwindled. He was on a minimum contract, so a lot of times if a player is signing a minimum contract with a team, especially if they're signing with the Lakers, they're hoping that they can kind of prove to everybody that the rest of the league, hey, give me a chance, give me some minutes, and I could show you that I have value. I'm going to keep going here. From the Lakers' perspective, they're weighing Redick losing faith in him, how he might handle them bringing in his replacement, or the inevitable demotion he'd be in line for this summer. Okay, let me just give my thoughts real quick on Jaxson Hayes. I didn't mind Jaxson Hayes. Jaxson Hayes was fine. Jaxson Hayes, when Anthony Davis was a Laker, was fine. All good, no problem. Really didn't have an issue. They didn't have to give him a lot of money. He was on a minimum contract. Very, very little risk. Jaxson Hayes as your starting center, we got a problem. And that's more a problem from the Lakers roster construction than it is with Jaxson Hayes. Jaxson Hayes is not a starting center in the NBA. I think we all know that. I think we all understand that. And if Jaxson Hayes is not happy with his role, and certainly, I thought J.J. Redick made mistakes in the playoffs, and part of it included Jaxson Hayes. I'm not overvaluing Jaxson Hayes. I'm just saying that when you don't have any size, when another team is pushing you around, they're killing you on the offensive glass, and you're not using the only 7-footer that you have, that's that coach, make an adjustment here. I watched a lot of coaches in the playoffs, and you can pick any team that you want that started. I'll use Kerr as an example. There were games where Steve Kerr was using 10, 11, 12, 13 guys in the playoffs because he's just trying to figure out, can I find something that will potentially work, especially with Steph Curry being out? I'm going to take some chances. J.J. Redick didn't do that. And if J.J. Redick is known for in the playoffs playing a game where in the second half he didn't make one substitution, and obviously we know what happened. The Lakers ended up losing that game 4, and it's the first time in the history of the NBA a coach has never made a sub in the second half. That's on J.J. Redick. That's not on Jaxson Hayes. But I just don't see Jaxson Hayes, a part of the future for the Lakers unless he's coming off the bench. And unless it's probably on a minimum contract. And if Jaxson Hayes wasn't happy with his role, I don't blame him. But I also don't think the Lakers are going to try to move heaven and earth to keep Jaxson Hayes. So part of this had to do with more, in my opinion, of J.J. Redick and his maybe stubbornness in the playoffs, maybe his lack of adjustments in the playoffs. But the other part of it is as well, if you're going to be a team that truly is contending or trying to, get to the Western Conference Finals or trying to make a real run, we all know Jaxson Hayes can't be your starting center. So going on that report of he probably most likely will not come back to the Lakers is probably a combination of the two. I think the Lakers probably won't lose sleep if Jaxson Hayes is not a Laker. And I think Jaxson Hayes is also saying to himself, well, I wasn't used properly in the playoffs. My value went down, and I'm going to try to find a different opportunity somewhere else. So let me just kind of read a couple of these comments here because I am curious to see what people think in regards to Jaxson Hayes. We'll take it from there. All right, let's see what we got here. Some people trying to make a case for trying to go get a guy like Bam Adebayo. Let's see here. Yeah, I think a lot of people actually kind of comments-wise in regards to Jaxson Hayes, I don't think too many people would be losing too much sleep over it. But I do think that there's not going to be too many people that are looking back here. Jaxson Hayes is just a $2 million guy. Don't spend too much time on him. Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. Jax is a legitimate lob threat, so he's worth a minimum or similar for sure. He improved a lot the last 2 years and still has potential to improve. He's young and physically gifted. Just can't be your starting guy, right? It's got to be a guy that comes off the bench that's giving you maybe 15 minutes a game, and then, that's it. But you got to have a real starting center that's going to be there for the Lakers, and that's obviously going to be their number one priority. Lakers going to need a center, a bench, an assistant to check the coach, and a person in the organization to tell Bronny to go start a podcast. All right, let me get a couple more in here, and then there's one other topic that I want to get into as well. Jaxson Hayes can play well as a backup center, no 35 minutes a game, maybe 15 minutes a game. Exactly what I said. 15 minutes, that's That's all you're really going to ask from him. Jaxson has no defense, not worth it. Go get Capella. I mean, I think everybody agrees. I'd take Clint Capella over Jaxson Hayes in a heartbeat. Now, listen, they still need a 7-footer that's sitting on the bench. I'm just Jaxson Hayes can't be a dude that you're starting a game with. That's the best way to put it. Hayes was gone after JJ benched him in game 3. Could be right there. And then listen, again, some of this also is the mistake that you have of JJ Redick. So I think it's a combination of the two in regards to how Jaxson Hayes was used. All right, thank you very much for watching the clip. Just want to give a shout out here to one of our partners, the Wallace Firm. They are official injury attorney of the Sliwa Show and Hoops Talk, the entire channel. If you are ever in a need, and I hope you're not, but some type of serious injury with yourself or a family member of yours, I would like to personally help you by introducing you to the best in the business, Brad Wallace and the Wallace Firm. Also got a URL out here that you can use as well. Just go to wallacewins.com/Sliwa. Thank you for their partnership, and thank you for being a part of the Sliwa Show.